Shalom everyone, and today we're studying Parashat Lekh-Lekha. This parasha is the third parasha from the beginning. Genesis chapter 12, verse 1. ויאמר אדוני אל אברהם, לך לך מארצך וממולדתך ומבית אביך. And God says to Avram, Lech Lecha. Now, how to translate Lech Lecha? Means go. There are many basic efforts to translate it, to understand it. It means simply in Hebrew, get out, move on. Lech lecha me'artzecha u'moledetcha, move on, leave, start to walk from your land, from your birthplace, from the house of your father, to the land that I'm going to show you. Okay? We have a great message over here for all of us. Remember, when we read the parasha of Bereshit, it covered about 1,000 years and 10 generations. When we read Parashat Noach, it covered another 1,000 years and 10 more generations. Now we have Abraham, and we have with Abraham few parashot on with the same person. So the story really begins. Of course, what does it mean that it really begins? Basically, the history of humanity is picking up, and there is an evolutionary process. The process is towards creating the perfect human being. We are, as humanity, we're still in the process, and we have arrived now, especially 2023, or more correct, 5784, humanity is standing on a verge of a great, very powerful transformation. I spoke about it so many times. It's not easy, as everybody can understand, but it's inevitable. And we have in this parasha a lot of the concepts that we need to go through and to understand in order to be able to go through the coming months that are going to be very transformative, and very transformative can be and is going to be, for most people, very painful. Why? Because we're humans, and humans have the tendency to preserve the old and to stay always in the present or in the past. And when you're trying to stick to the past, Rabbi Ashlag, the founder of a modern Kabbalah movement, explained that the word in Hebrew for the past is avar. And avar has the same root as avera, which is transgression. As human beings, we have to put in front of us all the time, every day, every hour, Lech Lecha. Move on. We are not here to preserve the past and to hold on to it. We're here to let go, let God, and move on and develop. If I woke up today to live yesterday all over again, what did I do it for? Human beings are transformative creatures. We need the transformation, the growth, the moving on. We need that for our existence. It's not a luxury. It's not something that we will do when we have the time for it. It's something that we have to apply it daily, hourly, in order to find our calling, in order to be able to be the person we're supposed to be. Without becoming the people we're supposed to become, we have a problem with a very powerful concept that is called surrounding light, or mekif, surrounding light. What's a surrounding light? Surrounding light is the light that the Creator intended to share with us, with our souls. However, as we learned many times, because we were created in His image, You cannot make someone enlightened. You cannot give someone success. You cannot feed someone with happiness. People must acquire it, have ownership for it by themselves. And therefore, in order to receive the light that is intended to be our light, that's called the surrounding light, which means this light, from the creator point of view, that was already given to us. From our point of view, we don't have it yet because we didn't allow it to come in. And why we didn't allow it to come in? Because there are major basic rules in the structure of the universe, and one of them is the rule of the shame of receiving free gifts. The most important things in life, like success, greatness, growth, cannot be given, they must be earned. No pain, no gain. Everybody knows that. This is a cosmic rule, which means people must accept responsibility for their feelings, for their success, and for their failure. Anytime we're trying to put the blame on somebody else, we explained already many times, when we say it's their fault or his fault or her fault, one finger points at that person, the subject of our blame. One finger points at the creator. Why did you allow them to do this to me? And 3 points point at me. The majority vote is take 3 against 1, take responsibility, because it's all about you. Which means when we are basically complaining to the creator, why didn't you give me the light, the happiness, the success that I was dreaming about? And what's the answer? Take responsibility. From God's point of view, that was already given to us, and that is called the surrounding light. What's the problem? The surrounding light is not sitting in the corner waiting for our calling. The surrounding light surrounds us from all directions and trying to push its way in. Sometimes gently, sometimes violently. And what does that do? That is the cause of the human pressure. When a person, the individual, is under pressure, or when society is under pressure, it is because that surrounding light trying to make its way in. However, we resist the entrance of that light, because that means growth, transformation, expansion, getting out of the box, freedom. And in order to receive that, we need to make the effort to make the move from below, so that gift can come in from above. Now, what are the conditions to make that happen with the least amount of pain? That's basically what this parasha is about. It's not starting from nothing, because the basic rules have been laid already in the previous 2 parashot, and we will see how they repeat over here in this Parashat Lekh-Lekha, with the addition of more perceptions. So we are not talking about the history of humanity over here. We're not talking about the history of an individual named Avram, although we do talk about it. But what we are talking is about the development of each one of us. What is that we need to become the best person we're supposed to become? And again, what if I do not want to change? What if I want to stick to the way I was? Why can't it stay? It was great 2 months ago. Why it can't stay like this forever? Because, as I said, we did not wake up this morning to live yesterday all over again. We woke up for a new adventure, for new achievement, for new growth, for expansion, moving on, getting out of the box, revealing something new. And therefore, people are trying to stick to the past that cannot result with happiness. It's always terribly painful. Okay? And people who are always taking responsibility for ongoing change, these are the people that have the highest chance to achieve enlightenment and true fulfillment and happiness. How? Let's see it from Abraham. So I'm starting with the Zohar study, and the Zohar will give us some points about it. I'm reading from the Parashat Lekh-Lekha in the Zohar of Perush HaSulam, the Sulam commentary of Rabbi Ashlag, verse 62. Lekh-Lekha. Amar Rabbi Shimon said, "My tama de giluya kadma, להתגלה קודשה בריך הוא על ידי אברהם, פתח בלך לך, בעד אחא, למה לימי קודשה בריך הוא? מה טעם פתח לך לך? אלא כאמרו, דרמז בחושבני 100, דהמאה ל100 שנין התייליד לבר." Okay, so Rabbi Shimon is asking the question, why is it that the first revelation of God to Abraham is opening with the words Lech Lecha? Move on, get out, move forwards, step up. That's all of these are meanings in English, different words, certain words in different languages have different, they cover different areas than similar words in another language. So Lech means go, Lecha means for yourself. That's the exact translation of Lech Lecha. Go for yourself. However, that has much broader meaning in Hebrew. When he tells somebody, get out of here, that's Lech Lecha. Okay? So, and that's exactly what the Creator is telling Abraham. He's saying, you left your original home in Ur Kasdim, and now you are in Haran. It's your second home. You're already living here for quite a while. You reach some comfort, okay? And he didn't just sit there, Abraham. He probably opened a place, a center for learning. And he started to teach, and it says they made a lot of souls in Haran. So he had a lot of people coming to study with him. And now to leave all of that, he probably had a home already, a house. He was not lazy, and neither Sarah. So they probably had a beautiful place full with people day and night coming to study and to learn. And now God is saying, all of that project you started, and it's already it's years already, they spend in Haran, move up, get out, move on. That's what Lech Lecha means. And let go. So, why it starts with Lech Lecha? Because that's the first time God is talking directly to Abraham. It's first revelation. Why did he start with Lech Lecha? So there are few explanations, like always. One of them, says Rabbi Shimon, Lech Lecha is the number 100. Lech is 50, Lecha is 50, together 100. Telling him, Abraham, you move on, you want to have a son, you want a development, breaking out of the box, not here. Now, why the number 100? Why is it that Abraham has to reach the age of 100 in order to achieve the breakthrough and have a son? Which means now he has a hope that the lineage that he established would develop and something new will begin in history. Okay? And the answer is verse 63. אבל בואו, come and see. כל מה שעושה הקדוש ברוך הוא בארץ, הכל הוא בסוד החוכמה. Whatever the holy blessed be he the Creator is doing in the physical earth, it is done in the secret of the wisdom. Now, that has double meaning. Wisdom means there's a wise decision behind it. Whatever you see in the evolvement of humanity, the weather, the climate, people's interactions, and some of them, as we've seen lately, are beyond horrible, beyond even a word to describe atrocities. Still, there's a thought behind it, and sooner or later will reveal, and we see the reason, and sometimes only in the afterlife. However, it's all in the secret of wisdom. But there's another understanding. Chokhmah is a name for one of the dimensions of reality beyond our physical senses. Chokhmah, if we have the 10 sephirot, 10 spheres of emanations of light, 10 dimensions of thought and consciousness, each one of them is different, totally different. However, they bridge between the infinite and the finite consciousness of a human being. The second from the top is called Chokhmah. And what does it say about Chokhmah? Kulam bechokhmah asita. You did everything already in Chokhmah. Which means every evolvement, every piece of history, every movement, it's all part of the big picture that was already created in the beginning of all beginnings. Bereshit, in the beginning, but it means also Reshit, Reshit Chokhmah. The beginning is also Chokhmah. Everything was already created in the beginning, because for an infinite creator, he is above time. He doesn't need time to create the universe. Oh, but the universe is huge, but not infinite. The creator is the source. The universe is only the effect. The universe is only the creation. And the creation could never be above its creator. So all what's in the universe, including all the parallel possible universes of human free choice and activity, all of it was created already in Chokhmah. In that level that is called Chokhmah. Everything was already there. What we humans can see, we can only see one moment at a time, one level at a time. We cannot see the spread of the whole process. But when we learn wisdom, wisdom is the ability to look at reality and to see, to look at the situation like a wise doctor. Rabbi Ashlag is giving this example. A wise doctor looks at the patient and he can see from the situation of the patient, he can see the previous stages of the development of the disease, and he can also see, because he's wise, he can see the next steps of the development of the disease, and therefore he knows what steps to take in order to prevent the evil and to promote the good, so that disease will develop towards healing and not towards something worse than that. That's what wisdom is about. So when it says that everything the Creator did was done in Chokhmah, it means that whatever we see is part of the great plan. Okay? It doesn't mean it had to be the way it had to be. We have free will as humans. But whatever we choose leads us to a stage that leads us to the next stage of the process of evolution towards the perfect stage that humanity must reach. That's inevitable. Okay, so instead of mourning, why did that happen? We need to learn what should we do to get the best out of it. So the surrounding light that wants to come in, and sometimes it cannot penetrate because we block it, because we are too busy hating, blaming. You know, who hates and blame? Children. Grown-ups who are really responsible for their destiny don't have the time to blame. They don't have the time to hate. They stay away from that like from fire, because that's exactly against what does it mean, Lekh-Lekha. And I'll explain. So, and therefore, because Abraham lo haya davukas bakadosh baruch hu karoi, Abraham was not attached to the Creator properly at that stage when he is in Haran. Haran is in the southeast of Turkey of today. And that's pretty far from here if you have to walk all the way. Amar lo lech lecha, and that's why the Creator said to him, the place you have reached brings you towards a place in which you have to move out. You have to move, to go on. וזהו רומז לאותו מקום שהיה צריך להתקרב לקדוש ברוך הוא. And that hints that that was not enough. Abraham had to move on because he was not yet there. He was not there yet. Okay? And usually, we humans, it's very rare that we are there yet. If we woke up in the morning, we're not there yet. Why did we wake up in the morning? There's another journey to make today. If I don't make the journey, don't be surprised the surrounding light will start to put pressure on you, and you don't understand why so much pressure, because you have to get up and move. Make the change. Expand so the light can come in and fill you up and make you grow. Now, how many levels are there for growth? So we know, basically, we're talking about 10 levels, 10 sephirot, 10 emanations, 10 levels of emanations, 10 levels of expansion. Each one is divided also into 10. When you have 10 times 10, you get 100. Lekh-Lekha. Which means you have to move on because there's so many levels you need to acquire, to delve into, to grow into, to expand to become. So, if you are a spiritual person and you experience terrible pressure, and that means pain, what do? You open up. You open up, you learn, you expand, you let go, because you know, let go and let God. What does that mean? Something great is waiting. That's why I'm under pressure. So I'm welcoming the next stage. You start from that decision. I'm welcoming the next stage. I'm not fearful about it. I'm not stressed out about it. I'm not painful about it. I'm opening up because I know, I trust, I have total faith. The next stage is going to be much bigger, greater, more powerful, more fulfilling, more rewarding than the stage I'm at right now. Otherwise, why should I have pain? Just for nothing? No. Everything is part of the great wisdom this universe was created in or with. So that is what the message of Lekh-Lekha to us, to learn that we human beings, we are, as the Talmud is saying, when you want to define what's the difference between humans and angels. Angels are called standing, omdim. Why? Angels, they are being created for a certain purpose, and they are not expected to change. So they are standing. Every angel for a purpose. We'll see that in the next parasha about the purpose of every angel, and he cannot change it. Angels have no free will and they cannot transform. One angel for one action. Humans are called, the Talmud is saying, holchim, walking, Lekh-Lekha. The journey, walking, the great parade starts with Abram. It started before, but Abram was the first human being to be truthfully aware of that great journey that we are all part of. So when he's being told Lekh-Lekha, God is revealing himself to Abram and saying, there's so much for you to reveal, and the cost is you have to let go, move on. You have no idea what's going to happen to you, and you should trust that by doing that, as the verses continue, I'll make you, that's verse 2 in chapter 12, I'll make you a big goy. Whoever does not know Hebrew, goy means a nation, not some nations and some not. I'll make from you a big nation. And I will bless you. And I will make your name great. You'll become a blessing. Just you, Abram, just his name and his family, you'll become, your presence will become a blessing. How do you do that? You move on. You have that commitment to move on, to never rest on your laurels, saying, I've done enough. And then it goes in verse 3, also very famous verse. I will bless the ones who bless you. I will curse the one who curse you. And you, with you, all the families of the earth will be blessed. With you, by you. Your presence, your actions, your teachings, that will be the source of blessing for all the families of the earth. What's the next verse? Verse 4. Vayelech Avram kasher diber elav Hashem. And Abram walked, he went, just as God talked to him. Which means, here we have the message. Every year, at the beginning of the new year, this is the message, that's our calling, this is what we are being expected, and simply you want to be a blessing to whoever around you. Take that calling of Abram and be the one who delivers that message to the world. Move on, get out, always have that hope that the next stage is much greater than the past, and you don't cling to the past because the future is so much promising that it's just waiting for you. So, this is the message. So how do we do that? How do we come to that place? Okay? So the Zohar continues. The first level, the first stage, מדרגה ראשונה, לבוא לקדוש ברוך הוא, the first stage to get closer to God is to be willing to let go and move on. Instead of what is the immediate reaction, like especially when you're a kid, we're moving. No, I want my friends, I want my classroom, my classmates, I want to stay. For kids do not have to do that. Why? That doesn't apply only when they are growing to become bar mitzvah. Only then you need, but then you have to accept the idea that life is about moving on, letting go and moving on, because that's the only way you grow. And that level, says the Zohar, verse 64, ומדרגה זו לא יכול אברהם להתאחז בה מטרם שיכנס לארץ ישראל. And Abraham could not get closer to God without moving into the land of Israel. כי שם מקבלים מדרגה זו. Where do you get that level, that level, that step, madriga, step or level? In the land of Israel. So the land of Israel is not just a geographical location or like the middle of the Middle East, the crossroads between the north and the south, you know, all the birds. Right now it's a fall. Now millions and millions of birds coming all the way from Siberia till Finland and are migrating to Africa. So where? The land of Israel. Why? This is the bridge between the north and the south. In the spring, they make the way back, millions and millions of them, because that's a very small strip of land that is not desert and they can pass through. The same thing, the way from the Far East to Europe, that going through Israel again. So we have that great crossroad, but we're not talking about the geographical crossroad. We're talking about the crossroad between the physical realm and the spiritual realm. The gate to heavens, as Jacob is going to tell us in few parashot. But that starts already in this parasha. Abram has to come to the land of Israel in order to experience the next level. A lot of people make the pilgrimage to Israel because here you can connect to something you cannot experience any other place around the world. What's the problem? A lot of people, with their foolishness, they experience deeply inside the importance of the land of Israel, and they fight politically on this piece of land. Hatred, violence, such a stupidity. How can you acquire a connection to such a higher level with so much violence? This is exactly the opposite of what the land of Israel is about. You want to receive a higher level? You want to receive an advanced, more spiritual awareness with hate, with violence? That doesn't go. So how do we learn that? So we continue with the story, and we'll see how this is being unfolded along the parasha. So first of all, we get the story that Abraham is coming down south from Haran all the way through Syria of today, and then to the land of Israel of today, and then coming to the what is called today the highway of the patriarchs. Today it's called Highway 60. Okay, I'm broadcasting right now, but just from Highway 60. That's where this place is located in Jerusalem. That was the road that, you know, when you went up and down north and south Israel, that was the main road to go through. So Abram is going, and what does it say? Verse 9, Vaisa Avram haloch v'nasoa negba. And Abraham is traveling, haloch v'nasoa. This is a very special grammatical structure in Hebrew. It's kind of a present continuous, haloch v'nasoa, ongoingly traveling south. Now, the land of Israel is not that big. If you ongoingly travel south, soon enough you find yourself outside the land. So what does it mean, ongoingly traveling south? So we have to understand that south has another meaning. The meaning south in Kabbalistic terms is when you're standing facing sunrise, east, then your right side is to the south, left side is to the north, your back is to the west, which means the south is chesed, loving kindness, giving, right column. The left is Gevurah, judgment. Okay? We explained that when we studied about shaking of the lulav in Sukkot, exactly the same directions. And the east is central column. West is the fourth element. If the right column is water, left column is fire, central column is air, the back west is earth. So we have all four elements. So when it says ongoingly traveling south, when you do not know what to do, remember that. This is an eternal rule. When you are under stress, when the pain is beyond anything you can understand, gets you crazy, out of your mind, you don't know what to do, go south. What does it mean? Do something for somebody else. That something you do for somebody else, that connection to loving kindness, out of the box. Because what is in the box? Normally when people are under stress, they think it's normal and it's okay to be negative, upset, blame the whole world, hate the whole world, be angry about everybody, because you're justified. And here the lesson is, under stress, the secret is do something for somebody else that will take you out. Because it will do two things. Once, the stress is because of judgment. Too much energy is starting to come in. Too much light is penetrating into your dungeon that you have created on your own. Because you're blocking the movement forward. You're stagnant. You're stuck. That's why the pain. The surrounding light is moving in against your will. You don't want to change. You want to freeze and to die standing. Okay? The surrounding light. So the pain is a good sign something is moving. So when the pain is rising, when you get out of your comfort zone for someone else, what do? You expand. And another thing, you create the energy of chesed. Chesed, loving kindness, the energy that is generated when people give, that energy stays forever. When you give against your will, which means you feel like being angry and hateful for everyone, and instead of that, you give. Instead of that, you give hand to somebody else. You give help to somebody else. What did you do? You expanded your box. What happens when you expand your box? The surrounding light that comes in has more space. Less pressure, less pain, more growth, more miracles. What's a miracle? Nes. Lanus velitnoses. To flee up and above what? The box, the cage, the dungeon that we created for ourselves. So, you want to know how to rise, how to grow. You don't know what to do in time of pain and stress. Do something for somebody else. I told that story a few times, but it's a famous story by Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach. That one day he walks on the streets of Tel Aviv many years ago, and he sees this old man sweeping the floor, a street cleaner. He had a white beard, and there was a light over him like a saint, like a real tzaddik. Rabbi Carlebach approaches him and says, "Excuse me, please, can you tell me who are you? You look like a very special person." And the person says, "I'm just a simple street cleaner." He says, No. Tell me who. No, I'm just a simple person. Where are you from? He says, I'm from Piaseczna. Piaseczna. You are from that town of the rabbi of Piaseczna? He says, yes, he was my rabbi. That was one of the greatest rabbis of Poland before the war, before the Holocaust. He was a great master of meditation and spiritual teachings. very famous, more and more famous lately, even more. And he was killed in the Holocaust with the whole community. So what did you learn from the rabbi of Petna? So the person says, look, when we were taken to the gas chambers, I was only 11. But on that day, in the evening, I found myself in the barracks with a lot of men crying, depressed. I realized everybody I knew, all my family was gassed to death. And we're just alone. And I was so depressed, so upset, so much in pain. And then I remembered what the rabbi of Petna taught me. If you are in stress, you don't know what to do, you are in pain, just do something good for somebody else. I looked around, there were a lot of people that needed help. This one needed water, another one wanted just an ear to listen to, somebody to talk to. The whole night, I attended people in stress and helped them. And I continued to do it till the end of the war. And that's what saved my life. So, I think you've got the message. That's what means ongoingly going south. That is the message. First. Then, there's a famine. And he goes to Egypt. And the sages explain, there's a lot, I won't explain the story, but in Egypt, Pharaoh takes Sarah to his home, and finally, Abram, out of the famine, instead of having complaints, God, you told me, you're taking me to the promised land, the moment I come, there's famine. That's a promise. That's not Abram. That shouldn't be us. If there's a famine, there is a reason there's a famine. What's the reason? I'll find out later on. And what they found out, there are many reasons why they had to go to Egypt. Sarah had to be in Pharaoh's place. That started the whole story of the Exodus just then and there. And after that, there's a story about Abram and Lot. Lot was Abram's nephew. He took him with him. And Lot was not such a nice person. In Aramaic, Lot means a curse. Why should you name your son a curse? But remember, the whole story of Genesis, the whole book, is not about people. It's not about history. The Torah is not a history book. It's about concept we have to apply in order to become the person each one of us should become. And what is Abraham doing with Lot? He says, you know what? I see there's not enough place for both of us. So you choose wherever you want to go. If you go to the left, I'll go to the right. If you go to the right, I'll go to the left. Which means some people, they are in a stage in which they don't understand the concepts of transformation. They are totally under the control of the curse. What's the curse? Selfishness. They're blind to see other people. Therefore, they're blind to see their own good, because they're busy robbing, cheating, whatever, and they think it's going to make their lives better. No, it does not. It does not. It's against the rules of the universe. Lot cannot see that, even though he lives all his life with Abraham. So a time comes that you have to separate your way from people like this. Can't be in the same land. Wherever you go, I go the other way. We can't sit on the same land. Why? It's either me or you. Because when you go with a certain spiritual way of life, you cannot negotiate on these concepts with people who do not have any will to negotiate these concepts. They want it their way, and it's my way or the highway. So, what is Lot choosing? He's choosing to go to Sodom and Gomorrah, to live with them. We already understand the story, okay? So that's where he goes. And it says, "Ve'anshei Sdom ra'im v'chataim." And the people, that's verse 13, chapter 13. And the people of Sodom are evil, sinful to God, very much. Like, that's a very, very obvious title for the people of Sodom. After that, God is revealed to Abram again. Now that you are free from that burden with people who choose ongoingly to be evil, now the whole country is yours. Kum italech ba'aretz, walk along the country, and I'm giving it to you. Okay, so what's the other thing we have to learn? Chapter 14 is about a war. It's a world war. Four very big kings, very famous kings, even in today's history, they make a big war with other 5 kings. And I won't tell about the war, but they win the war, and they take Sodom and Gomorrah, they take their spoils, and Lot was part of it. So they take Lot, his property, with the rest of the whatever was there in Sodom and Gomorrah. And then one of the refugees, it says verse 13, comes to Abraham and he tells him that Lot was taken into captivity. He's a hostage. And Abraham is setting a small army, it says, verse 14, of 318 people. And he goes after the 4 kings who won the war with 318 people. Is that reasonable? You know what? You go to learn what Rashi is saying about it, the greatest commentator in history. And Rashi says 318 people. He says from Tractate Nedarim, page 32a, that was only Eliezer. You think that's ridiculous? 319 people? No! It was only Eliezer, Abraham's servant. Eliezer, numerical value, is 318. That makes it even more weird. It makes me think, what's 318? If you listened to last week's Parsha, if you listened to the previous week's Parsha, we spoke about a very important concept. Siach, speech, words. How do you say it? Siach, Shin, Yud, Chet. That's also a number. You know, every Hebrew word is a number. Siach is exactly 318. Adam was created till he started to speak and name things. Nothing existed. Nothing existed. The power of speech is what makes us human. So when you say, you know, the 4 levels, inanimate, vegetable kingdom, animal kingdom, human kingdom. In Hebrew, you don't say human, you say speaking, medaber, speaking, siach. Shem, Cham, Yefet, the 3 sons of Noach, the initials, Shem is Shin, Cham is Chet, Yefet is Yud. Again, siach. Again, 318. Abram, he won the war just with the proper talk, the proper speech. We win the wars of our lives first with the right talk, the right speech. We have to take responsibility for our words. Now, last week, Parashat Noach, we spoke about Noach, the righteous person. He was committed to the covenant. What's covenant? Adam had a covenant with God. So there are certain rules of behavior. Do not kill. Do not steal. Do not be jealous. These basic rules were known to Adam and humanity. However, humanity was trying to break the boundaries and to do whatever they feel like doing. What was the result? Deluge, the flood, total destruction, climate destruction. That's what happens when people simply break the laws of honesty, integrity. Okay? And we learned last week, it was all about the covenant with God that made Noah that one person that survived. He went into the ark, but the ark is teva. Teva in Hebrew is a box, but teva in Hebrew means also a word. Okay? So Noah and the ark. In this parasha, in the end of the parasha, Abraham is being circumcised. How do you say circumcision in Hebrew? Brit Milah. The circumcision of the covenant, or another way to understand it, Milah means in Hebrew also a word. You see that thin line that connects all three parashot. It's commitment, it's a covenant, it's commitment to integrity, honesty, your basic journey towards the connection to God. When you have that commitment, you are the person of the covenant. When you are, how do you manifest it? Always going south, always being the person that will be a giver, staying away from people who do not accept the covenant. Don't mix with them, especially if you see that they don't want to listen. So you stay away from them. And what we have about the covenant is the commitment. Remember, the world right now, 2023, 5784, is on a huge, important crossroads. And it's the main line is between the covenant and people who go against the covenant. I'll give you an example. What does it mean to have a covenant? It means that you have a commitment to your own spiritual journey. That means to be mature. That means that you're not busy always blaming somebody else. You know, the tradition was for few millennium, few millennium, that, you know, you have a problem, you blame the Jews. The moment you blame somebody of a different race, a different nationality, a different look, somebody that was a visible minority, or you blame your wife, your husband, somebody else, just blaming and hating, it means you break the covenant. Because what is a covenant? I have a commitment to move on, to grow, and it's all about me and my relationships with the Creator. There's nothing in that story. There's a pressure. Give, share, go out of your comfort zone, do something for somebody else. We see it after Abraham is winning the war. And what's happening? You see the concept goes on. Okay? He goes to Melchizedek, verse 18, chapter 14. Who's Melchizedek? The king of Shalem. Who is Shalem? Jerusalem. Jerusalem. This is Shalem. Jerusalem appears already here. He goes, Abraham, to Jerusalem to tithe. He's giving a tithing. Why? Why giving tithing? You made money. You made profit. The first thing is, wow, great, thank God. Now give. How much? 1/10. Because, as we said, Lekh-Lekha, there are 10 levels, 10 of each. So the 10 levels of the last level, the level of the 10th, which is the finite, you give it away, so you share it. You turn the receiving into giving. From finite, you turn it into the infinite moving on. From receiving, you inject in also the power of giving. Why did I receive? So I can give. So that is essential. So we have over here the connection to Jerusalem. You have over here the tithing. After that, Abram grows even higher. Chapter 15. אחר הדברים האלה היה דבר אדוני לבן במחזה. Abram has a revelation. And in this revelation, God is saying, now you can get even more than I promised you in the beginning. Let me tell you that. And Abram is saying, but I am not going to have any child. Verse 2, chapter 15. Verse 3. Only Eliezer is the one who inherit me because I have no children. Verse 4, God says, no, you'll have a child. Verse 5, ויוצא אותו החוצה, and God takes him out. What do you mean out? Outside the box. Outside logic. Outside the past. Outside the logical frame. Abram was a great astronomer and astrologer. He saw in his chart. So Rashi is telling it that from the Talmud. He's not going to have a child. It was never a precedent that somebody had something that was not in the chart. And God is saying, when you walk my way and you have one commitment to integrity, honesty, and never blame others for your pain, just grow. Accept the idea that every pain is a growing pain. When you accept it and you go into sharing, you will grow. If you go inwardly into the pain and blame, that will destroy you. The world is now changing very fast. The line is being set very clearly. The people of the covenant, the people who commit to integrity, honesty, do not blame, do not hate, do not be angry. Just take the responsibility for your own feeling, your own situation, and grow. Everything that happens, that's a sign to grow, to move on. So I'm excited about it. Instead of being busy hatefully, blaming and blaming and blaming, that's not the covenant. When you do that, you go above the stars. That's what it says over here. He took him out, and now he says, look down upon the stars. Now you can put them under your control. Whatever you say, whatever your commitment is to me, to the eternal light, to eternity, then whatever will happen to you is beyond imagination. That is the story we're talking about. Whoever does that gets the land. And Abraham is asking, verse 8, Vayomar, and he says, Adonai Elohim, Bameh eda ki yirashena, how would I know that I'll inherit this land? I know till I got to this place. I'm 75 years already. It took me 75 years to come to this place. How would I know, asked Rabbi Ashlag, that my children will inherit the same level? I worked so hard. You can't get this land on a silver plate. And God said they will have to suffer for it too. They will be 400 years in a strange land. They will be tortured. They will be enslaved. And that's how they earn the right for this holy land. You want the holy land, not on a silver tray. This land is a holy land. Holiness is not earned for free. It has to be earned, no pain, no gain. The bigger the pain, the bigger the gain. And that's what we're talking about. So that's why later it says, why did Ishmael go and live in Arabia? Why did Esau go and live in Edom, across the Dead Sea? And the answer, they knew the prophecy. They said, we don't want to go 400 years to be slaves. We don't want to pay. We don't want to pay. We don't want the pain. Don't give us the gain. So they gave up on this land. So now they want it back. They forgot the promise. They forgot there was a deal. Whoever is willing to pay the price. And the price is not just the fight for this land. The price is also to keep the covenant. And that's why at the end of the story we're coming to the Brit. Now the covenant is also the circumcision. Brit Milah. Milah, a word. Teva, ark, also a word. All of that is about when you are committed to the journey, you don't blame, you're honest, no matter how pain it gives you. When you're in pain, give, bless, pray, trust, and you will see miracles happening. That's a message for all of us, because the coming months are not going to be easy, because humanity must expand to the next level. There's a bigger, greater level awaiting all of us. So either you choose being hysterical, upset, you want to hide in your corner and hate the rest of the world and be busy with blaming and blaming, or you want to achieve greatness. You want to achieve greatness? Get out of your comfort zone. Be there for others. Look around, you'll always find people who are in need more than you are. Do that, be committed to that. Be committed to love, giving, sharing unconditionally, and to growth. You'll see amazing miracles. But if you choose the other way, which is to curse, to find blame, to be upset, to be miserable, to be busy with your misery, to always look for the past that was lost and gone, will never come back, you'll be cursed. But it's your choice. Good luck with that.